Carlo Ancelotti and Pep Guardiola, are two of the most decorated managers in today's game. Ancelotti, who has been managing clubs for 30 years, has a trophy haul of 20 titles. The Italian maestro has won the Champions League on 3 separate occasions, including Real Madrid's fabled La Decima. Pep Guardiola is no slouch himself, with 2 Champions League trophies to his name and a track record of truly dominant teams and performances. However, it is this season that Guardiola stands on the brink of placing himself on equal footing with Ancelotti in terms of Champions League trophies. With a trophy tally of 31, Guardiola has a clear edge, and, in terms of perception, Manchester City's first Champions League title can tip the balance in favor of Guardiola for the discussion on the greatest of all time. However, his third title has been elusive, with Pep's most recent attempt thwarted by Chelsea in 2020-2021. At this time of writing, Guardiola is an away leg away from participating in his 4th Champions League final, and, at this stage of the game, the margin for error is minuscule. This is why his tactics for the first leg of the Champions League semi-finals, 2021-2022, had to be meticulous, with no detail overlooked or forgotten. When the tie was announced, we knew there were bound to be fireworks, with the 2 clubs being among the cream of the crop in several offensive categories. We also knew that each manager possessed a deep arsenal of talent and a mind of tactical brilliance. The resulting match was an instant classic, with 2 world-class squads playing high-stakes football, nothing better. On match day, Guardiola lined up in his traditional 4-3-3, attacking formation, with Kyle Walker out as a noticeable absentee in the right-back position. In his place, Guardiola positioned John Stones, a less mobile, precision passer who is aerially dominant. João Cancelo was also a noticeable absentee on the opposite flank after a yellow card received against Atletico Madrid in the previous tie. In his place was the pacey and agile Oleksandr Zinchenko. Guardiola adjusted by designating Zinchenko as the mobile fullback, who was not an out-and-out wingback, but somewhere in between. Pep intended to spread the pitch at strategic points, so he decided to play Phil Foden and Riyad Mahrez as traditional wingers, on the left and right wings, respectively. Each man is an effective dribbler, with Foden maintaining a successful dribble rate of 67% and Mahrez with 58%. Each man was to maintain width, up high, demanding an adjustment from Ancelotti. Up front, he played Gabriel Jesus in a fluid role as a center forward, and as the central man and traditional finisher, Gabriel Jesus could act as a poacher in the box. Guardiola balanced his front and back lines with a world-class midfield. Rodri, as the traditional holding midfielder and pivot, flanked on either side by Kevin De Bruyne, and Bernardo Silva was a masterstroke in how he played the 2 versatile men. Because his wingers maintained high width and Jesus was centrally placed, his midfielders determined the strong and weak sides of the pitch in terms of numerical superiority. Guardiola could alternate each flank as the weak and strong sides to throw Madrid off balance and seek to capitalize on the shifts. As the mobile fullback, Zinchenko could advance into attacking zones as far as the front line. Although, this could alternate, with Zinchenko staying home with Stones looking to capitalize on the transition. Silva or De Bruyne could then drift to either flank to participate in the strong side overload to capitalize on the numerical advantage and shift Madrid's backline, which was stretched due to City's presence on either flank. Each man could also seek space in, or around the box as a false 9 when in control formation, when there were not active participants on the flanks. With the leader in shot-creating actions, as of the first leg of the semi-finals, with 44, and a striker who is aging like fine wine, it was evident that Ancelotti would be playing top-heavy, revolving his tactics around his 2 attackers. On the opposite flank, Rodrigo as a traditional winger was preferred to Marco Asensio. The absence of midfield destroyer Carlos Casemiro was a massive hole in the holding position. However, this was an issue that Ancelotti overcame in Madrid's heroic home leg performances against PSG and Chelsea, with Modric in a much more attacking role. To balance his speedy front line, Ancelotti placed youngster Federico Valverde with generational midfielders Luka Modric and Toni Kroos. The balance was achieved by ensuring that Toni Kroos and Valverde maintained their roles as double pivots in alignment. They were to maintain a presence in the hole and disrupt central attacks. They were built for counter-attacking and direct football, seeking to play their wingers into vertical lanes. Ancelotti could also overload the left flank and overwhelm the space with speed. Kroos could act as the deep-lying playmaker, delivering direct balls from neutral space, with Modric and Valverde in an alternating playmaker role. All the while, Mendy and Carvajal could also stay over top as support, thereby giving more space for their wingers to work in. Thus, each manager was poised to deliver a heavy blow in the attack, with tremendous offensive capabilities, to the delight of football fans everywhere. With the home field advantage, Guardiola looked to immediately capitalize on the electric atmosphere, with a crowd of 52,000 strong. City looked to establish immediate control through their high presence on each flank. This is a traditional application of the 4-3-3, which has the advantage of flank control with the right personnel. Establishing control of the flanks forces two adaptations for the defensive system. The defense must adapt by spreading their lines in order to reduce the transitional distance in the event of a switch. Depending on how many players are involved on the flanks, the defensive system must devote numbers to the attacking flank. If a technically proficient dribbler is placed within the space, it can be utilized to devastating effect. We saw this immediately, as Kevin De Bruyne scored a diving header within 2 minutes of the match, the fastest goal ever scored in a Champions League semi-final. Seeking the weak side, in which Real Madrid had numerical superiority, Mahrez took possession of the ball and gained more time on the ball with a decoy run by Silva, opening up space to attack as Alaba shifts to the threat. With Foden and Mahrez maintaining width, ample lanes have opened up the potential of trailing runners into the box. The responsibility is for Mahrez to maintain possession of the ball, for Amain to utilize the lanes with the element of surprise for quick runs into the box. Gabriel Jesus remains fixed and man-marked by Militao. Foden's presence has placed Carvajal in limbo, as Rodrigo does not have defensive responsibilities. Carvajal must now decide whether to assist Valverde on De Bruyne or maintain coverage on Foden. As Mahrez creates separation and both Valverde and Carvajal collapse on the advancing striker, De Bruyne recognizes the advantage and springs into action. Chemistry and precision are combined to devastating effect as De Bruyne takes the open lane. Carvajal's response is a second too slow, as his attention is divided between Foden and De Bruyne. This is the brilliance of Guardiola, who seeks to put defenders in lose-lose situations. The run of play was established by Manchester City in control formation, an art that they have perfected over the course of this season, maintaining an average possession of 61% in Champions League play. City is able to establish control and dominance over the midfield with the way that they selectively press, ensuring that they do not vacate their zones. In the defensive phase of play, Bernardo Silva was the leading agitator as the leader in pressures within the neutral third, ensuring that the ball carrier was pressed while his defenders could maintain their zones and shape. Thus Real Madrid was unable to gain and maintain rhythm early in the match, with City seeking open routes to surge into space and establish control. Their communication was excellent, as they shifted the press, playing strict and positional zonally. City's second goal came 9 minutes later, once again, through weak side play. Despite the fact that City has overloaded the box, in clear sight of Vinicius Jr., without a response is an understandable point of annoyance. Through the sideline orientation, and the players within the space, City can capitalize on the lanes opened up through width and the overload. The brilliance of the attack is how quickly De Bruyne recognizes the advantage. Rather than opting to shift the line, he whips an early cross into the one-on-one matchup, creating instant offense. Alaba is overwhelmed by the instant transition, as his attention must be divided between the two central players, resulting in hesitation and poor tackling, which Jesus takes to perfection. Now 2 goals down within the first 15 minutes, Ancelotti had to take immediate, decisive action. However, this was made difficult by City, who retained their shape while closing off the passing lines. Ancelotti had to disorient City's lines, and he achieved this with a unified advance, in proximity to his offensive line, in the transition capitalizing while City was off balance, with Mendy, Carvajal, and Kroos over the top, for delivery. The scenario provided a significant advantage to Madrid, whose speed put their defenders in two minds. The ball could be played into space on the flanks or over the top, requiring them to gain depth at speed. The unified attack of central space in the transition disoriented the backline, as each man had to identify their man while ensuring that they were not flat-footed in the case of a pass. Thus space was completely open for Mendy to deliver a precise over-the-top pass into the gate for Benzema. The matchups were key, with Benzema having a physical advantage over Zinchenko. There are only a handful of strikers in the world who can finish at this level, as Benzema identified the most favorable matchup to control the space and finish off the volley. However, he is the most clinical finisher in the world at the moment. Madrid was not going down without a fight, maintaining their theme of fighting until the end. Guardiola had to note this and account for it, ensuring that he would not be caught on the transition again. Additionally, his brilliant mind noted that Madrid would like to advance their wingbacks as much as possible to ensure that his offensive threats were in position to deliver and take their chances. The halftime break provided Guardiola an opportunity to strategically adjust for the injury of John Stones in the 34th minute, with Fernandinho as his replacement. The tactical adjustments were incredibly effective, leading to City's third goal. Observe the way Carvajal looks to gain separation on the weak side to be played into space. As he, Valverde, and Rodrigo begin to seek separation in anticipation of the direct delivery, space opens up for Foden, which he capitalizes on in the transition, beating Carvajal, who is compromised as a result of the giveaway. Fernandinho delivers a cross, aerially, after identifying a favorable matchup and delivering with precision. It was important for Fernandinho to impose himself on Vinicius Jr., who he would be effectively man-marking. But this is Real Madrid, who play an extremely direct style of football, and who seek to burn defenders on the flanks with speed. They would not be deterred, seeking the exact same route a few minutes later for a much different result. The deft dummy, the body manipulation, the attacking ingenuity, and anticipation are the features that differentiate world-class wingers from the rest. With players such as these, any pass can lead to a goal. Vinicius' moment of brilliance stuns Manchester City's backline, as they are flat-footed, and the fact that he allows the ball to roll without a touch provides more space for him to run onto it at pace. This provides him a massive advantage over the trailing defenders, who have a slim chance of catching him. The movement of Benzema adds to the defenders' issues, as they must maintain their positional integrity while attempting to keep up, leaving Laporte in fixed limbo. Thus, Vinicius has a clear path to the goal, and by dispatching, he again shifts the balance of the match. Direct, attacking brilliance. With the game now at 3-2, Ancelotti now sought to ensure that the flanks were contained. To achieve this, 20-year-old Eduardo Camavinga replaced Rodrigo, as Madrid adapted to a more defensive 4-4-2. With Camavinga now assisting Toni Kroos, within the hole, Valverde could shift to provide assistance to Carvajal. However, the extra man in the midfield did not deter City from establishing flank dominance. Guardiola designated De Bruyne and Silva to be more involved off the ball. They could drift to participate on either wing, act as an over-the-top pivot, or remain centrally fixed as a false nine. They adapted their movements based on the activity of the two players in the hole, Kroos and Valverde. They displayed brilliant off-the-ball movement. Observe the way in which Zinchenko attacks the space, drawing the marker out of his zone, providing weak-side space for Foden. It was City's off-the-ball movement, as their variable players would constantly alternate their movements. The alternations in movements kept Madrid on their toes to remain positionally disciplined. City would alternate between flanks to seek the right matchups. The fixed width ensured that Madrid's defensive line remained spread, with the man on the ball given ample time to deliver into space. Observe the amount of time and space Zinchenko has on the ball, as City shifts their attacking focal to the weak side. Bernardo Silva's attacking instincts are activated, as the ref smartly plays the advantage. Due to the momentary confusion, and acres of space to operate in, dispatching without hesitation. All four of City's goals were scored with the same philosophy in place, utilizing Madrid's spread lines, and attacking the space in between. Although Madrid responded, yet again, shortly after, they played a game of catch-up for the entire match. On their home ground, City remained in alignment with their average of 60% possession. With 751 touches, City generated 23 shot-creating actions, maintaining a passing accuracy of an astounding 87%. They had to be excellent with their dribbling, and they were, completing 14 of 20 dribbles. They generated 16 shots on net, scoring 4 goals from their 5 shots on target. Against any other team, this would be considered complete domination, with a much larger margin of victory. However, this is Real Madrid. They maximized their 543 touches, generating 4 shots on target while scoring 3. They ensured that they still had a fighting chance for their second leg at home, with a margin of 1 goal to overcome. It is no secret that Manchester City is the best team that Real Madrid will host at the Bernabeu this season, and by a considerable margin. Madrid is in surprisingly decent shape. Carlo Ancelotti has been in this position several times in his illustrious career, responding in kind and galvanizing his men for a tremendous second leg performance. Although we learned our lesson after our last attempt to predict a Champions League outcome, we can be certain that the second leg of this tie will be a spectacle to behold. This tie, with these managers, at this stage in the Champions League has brought the most out of each side. With everything to play for, we will witness the battle of 2 incredible football minds, and we certainly cannot wait. Who do you think will win leg 2 at the Bernabeu, and what is your prediction? Sound off in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy our work, please leave a like and subscribe for more in-depth tactical analysis. See you again soon.